Welcome, welcome. I'm back. I was trying to get my thing together. I had to start all over. Then I had a phone call. So forgive me on me starting over. It's a great night to talk about some things, Aborigine perspective. I got a lot to talk about tonight. Hopefully, you guys will come on. It's nice. It's a really good night to talk about some of the things that we talk about. Yeah, I decided to talk here instead of TikTok tonight. I'll give some love to my YouTube channel. That's what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Um, yeah, yeah. Bring some consciousness awareness back to over here. Love coming in. Showing some love to the start of my social media platform. This is where it all started, and this is where it's going to end one day. Okay, so y'all give me a few seconds. I will get it together in a few seconds. Y'all just bear with me. Night, 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 and it may be 6:55, I think, Central Time Zone, where you guys at. I'm on the East Coast in Florida, so it is exactly 7:56. So wherever you're at, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Wherever your location is, whatever you're doing, it is what it is. Thank you. You guys can be anywhere else, but you take the time to come here and always be supportive of Peanut Nola 504 and his Aborigine channel. Okay. Um, there's some things I want to talk about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I talk about it. I tackle some of the things that some people are afraid to talk about. And I do that. Okay. So it is what it is. It's not nothing personal. It is just is what it is. And sometimes when you bring upon some things that happens, we so we have been told so long that white man is the problem, white man is this, white man is that, and we don't understand that that is a ritual. It's a ritual to say somebody is ruling you. That is a ritual. You don't understand it, but it is what it is. The more you tell a person, they may have white people who don't even understand about what happened to us, but you're going to give them the praise and give them the power by talking about what their ancestors have done to us. And that's the biggest mistakes that we have made throughout history. We so busy blaming one group of people, and we ignore the other groups that have been a part of keeping our people down, including our own self. Sometimes you can't get out of your own way, and that's just the way it is. We so used to trying to figure out who's to blame in life, and sometimes it could be you that is surely to blame. That's one of the things I talked about with Kanye West, and he was talking, and people just took that out of context on what he was talking about slavery. And when you think about it, he's correct on some of that stuff that he said. Even though I think that he's one of the most weirdest people I ever, there's a weird brother. But the more we keep putting ourselves as victims, the more we see ourselves as victims, we're going to be a victim to ourselves. The more we keep saying how much the white man has ruled us and keep blaming the white man, we are never going to overcome the true pain about ourselves. And sometimes you got to look at self and say, hey, and I was looking at Tariq Nasheed, and Tariq Nasheed is supposedly be a big history major. He's a guy that's he's supposed to be a historical guru. And that's what he run his platform on, is his history. And he talks about stories about certain things, about being a victim. He's always talking about us being a victim. And one of the things he talked about was, and there are truths, and there are some truths, but there are lies behind truths. There are some truths that is told, but there are lies behind some truth. Some people can tell half the story of what happened to certain people back in the days. Colonization. We're one to believe that the people that were being hung by trees, we're one to believe that people that were being hung by trees were runaway slaves. But I like to tell you that that's not, it's half a way true, but it's not all the way true. Some of the people that were hung by trees were landowners. There were landowners who owned land. And so we have been told so long that all people of color were slaves, when it's entirely not true. Not all people of color were slaves. And that's a fact. Some people of color own slaves. So when we talk about people being hanged by the tree, and they were burning people, and they would get in their best outfits, they were getting their best suits. They'll get their women dressed up. They would get their children, their offspring. They would bring their offspring in to see such a massacre. Why would they do so for any slave? To set an example, to bring fear amongst others? That's what you would believe, would you? No. Many people were taken. Many people's lands were taken from them. And this is one of the things that we don't question, that we talk about, what happened in Georgia, Forsyth, Georgia. In Forsyth, Georgia, there were many landowners where they were just taking land, taking homes, taking lands, taking homes. And when we go back to history, you will find out that the people that were hung by trees were landowners who had land patents. And when you understand that these people, greetings, that these so-called runaway slaves were the people who owned the land, who owned the homes, who owned the lands, who owned the homes. Understand, and shout out to David. You would understand why they were doing what they were doing. Now, when you get up here and you understand that the fact that I can just threaten the people, and I will threaten the people, and I will threaten the people until they will not give in. So I would tell you to either you leave this land, or we're going to take this land from you. And we're going to take this land by force. And that's what they did. They burned down their homes, and they took their farm land, they took their crops, and they made an example out of the landowner. And they stand around him. So others wouldn't understand, if you don't give me the land, this shall happen to you. So living on fear, people gave up their land. Living on fear of being hanged and burned, people gave up their land. Don't be so small-minded to believe that your people did not own things. As we discover multiple times that in history, it's called his story. It's not called your story. So everything should be questioned. Question everything. Question what I say. Question what every people say. Because it deserves to be questioned. Teach your children to question. It never hurts to question people. Because people lie to keep supremacy. In order to keep supremacy, people will do whatever was possible to keep it. And they will even lie to their own people. There's many white people don't truly know their own history. Okay? They don't know their own history. Why would you tell your people about the truth about who they are when you lynched so many people of wealth? You would have to give back so much. This is why reparations, and we keep screaming reparation. No, we don't. It's more than just reparation. You can't write a check on what has happened to American Indians in America. You can't write a check. You have to, there's so much land that has to go back to the people of color. And we talked about Tariq Nasheed. Now he's giving stories again. And we talked about the Florida D. Lee. I got many people who are saying, how dare you? Don't wear, Peanut wears this. Chief Peanut wears this Saints cap that has a flower on it, which is called the Florida D. Lee. But I understand why I wear it. And everything that you wear, you have to understand what you're wearing. And just because Tariq Nasheed told you that Negroes were branded by it, it doesn't change the fact what it was before they used it for bad. Before 1492, everything was used in a righteous manner. And just because thieves come down to America and steal doesn't make it for them. It doesn't make it for them. And you got to understand this. Just because they brand the slaves with a flower symbol doesn't make the flower symbol evil. It makes the people evil, not the flower symbol. And then when people read that it comes from Europe, you need to read on and understand that it was native to Louisiana, that the Fleur de Lis was native to Louisiana. And just because somebody steals something, just like I always tell people about kings and queens, every royal palace, every royal family has stole. Now, I'm not talking about the melanated people, but every royal family to get power, they have stole. They have went to small continents, small countries. They have been all over and they steal. And it doesn't make it theirs because they inflicted the pain to others. So I have no qualms with the flower of nature. If you are a spiritual being, you're not mad at the flower. You're mad at the people who use the flower for bad. The Confederate flag, the very first Confederate flag was a native flag. It was an indigenous flag. And these are the things that I tell people. Evaluating, understanding. Get a clear understanding before you say what's bad and what's not bad. Because the Confederate flag was not bad. People made it bad. It's an object. It's a flag. And the people are the reason why the flag is bad. In everything in life, people makes things bad. And you got to understand that. People are the bad, not the material things. They're not bad. It's how people use the material. So we have to get an understanding, and we got to get a truth about what it is. I tell people all the time, nature is everything. Spirituality is everything. Your God is everything. Your God is within you. Your God is not in the sky. Your God is within you. Your God lives within you. You are your God because God is you. And you are God because God is in you. It's not a physical building. It's nothing that you can see. It's a spirit that lies within you. So anything of nature is good, but people can make nature bad. It's people who make nature bad. It's not the object of the things. It's the people that makes the object bad. And we have to understand these things. People live lives in agendas, and they truly don't understand. We got many Pan-African people who are out here are mad at Aborigine brothers and sisters like me and you. They're mad. They're mad because we are no longer asleep to information. And my information does not belong to me. That the information that is taught from all over social media does not belong to you. It belongs to everybody. Information is to be learned from all of us. Because all it is studying, and knowledge is meant to be shared. Knowledge is meant to be shared. But we got brothers like Umar Johnson out here. And I don't care if Umar finally gets his school together. Umar makes everything about him and not the people. It's a big difference. And selfish people uses the hearts of good people. It wouldn't matter to me if he made 13 schools. It's the heart and mind of the person. And you got to understand that when you got wicked inside you, you can never be trusted. Because when you lead with money, you're not for the people. Everything you talk about is money, and that's all, and you're not for the people. It's okay when people want to donate to you. I even got a cash app up. But you have to understand it has to be, you don't be out here begging and demanding. People come to listen to you, and your information will always be for free. Information belongs to all of us. We got brothers that you don't even see talking no more. They got wealthy off of the conscious community. They got wealthy off of us. You know how many brothers came through Young Pharaoh? So many of these brothers became wealthy off of the people's back, living in great homes, living great just to speak information that you can Google today. You can go out there and Google the information. But some people, they lead with pockets. Ain't no different than, some of them are no different than the preacher out there, the crooked preacher. It's no different. And it is what it is. So many people try to debunk us. They don't like us because we have been deep into the information. You know how many people that can't stand us? People they envy because they ain't got it like us. We out here doing the work. And when you put in the work, people will follow. You don't have to do nothing crazy for people to follow. You just got to be consistent. You say, and ain't brother ain't brother give ain't brothers give back. No, they're not giving back. What they giving back is nothing but rhetoric, you know. They're not giving nothing back. And these brothers out there, I'm telling you, these dudes, these Pan Africans, they're falling down right before our eyes. And these guys, and I want you to understand that these real Africans are really getting disrespectful. I have seen it on TikTok. They're calling us gator babies. We got Africans that are calling Black Americans, so-called Black Americans, American Indians, I would like to say. Shout out to Thomas. They're calling us gator babies. They're calling us gator babies. I mean gator babies. And we have seen this multiple times, the insults. You know why they call us gator babies? Because see, they're learning information how the white man used to throw us to the gators, our babies to the gators as bait. And I want people to understand this. So now when they don't like our information, they're calling us gator babies. We've seen it multiple times on TikTok. And you will always see the true colors. These immigrants, a lot of the immigrants cannot stand us. They cannot stand us. But we have opened the doors for immigrants. Immigrants come in this country 24/7. They get jobs. And we talked about this multiple times. Immigrants should be more grateful for people of color here in America, but they're not. There's a lot of immigrants who have came over, and because of the Civil Rights Act, the Indian Rights Act, of our women getting bit by German shepherds, our men being hosed down by the fire department, the police brutality, everything that we have been beaten upon, the struggles that we have been a part of, we open the doors to immigrants. And one of the things, we have always been helping everybody else. But how many of these people help us? When they got out their knees on our neck. During the Civil Rights Act, how many of you seen Africans marching with black people here in America? How many of you seen Mexican people marching with Martin Luther King? How many Native Americans were marching with Martin Luther King? When they were spitting upon our people, how many times that you seen them marching with our people? But yet we always lead and let other people in. We are the most forgiving nation of people. We forgive everybody because we're always turning the other cheek. When it's time for them to get business, when it's time and they are getting grants to go into neighborhoods, who neighborhoods they're in? When they need a business open up, a grocery store open up, who neighborhoods they're in? The Arabs, Palestine, we talk about Palestine all the time. They want us to feel empathy and sympathy for them, what's going on in Palestine and what's going on in Israel. But when we went through 400 years of horrible treason against our people, where were they? When have you seen them come against the United States and try to fight the injustices that has happened to our people? That we're being slaughtered for over 400 years. Our land has been taken from us. When has people came and stand up and fought for us? But you can see these same immigrants who will call us lazy. They come here and they begin to say that we are lazy because we don't do the shit for free no more. If you look at the cotton industry, you look at the sugarcane industry, before they started using machines, that's our money. That's the power of our people. So much money that they have not given us for free labor here in America. And yet, we always forgiving everybody else. I am firmly against people unaliving babies. I'm firmly against people unaliving babies, dropping bombs on people. But I can't be concerned with other countries right now because we have a problem here in America. We have a deep issue here in America, and we have not recovered ourselves. We have a serious problem here in America, and I can't begin to be worried about somebody else. And that's the problem. We always dipping our nose in everybody else's business when nobody's actually fixing the problems here in America that we're dealing with. When somebody is voted as president of the United States, I don't care if it's Donald Trump, I don't care if it's Joe Biden, I don't care if it's President Obama, they are not making bills just for people of color, for black people here in the United States. They need our votes, and we got to stop voting for them. We got to stop voting for them until they start recognizing us as citizens here in this country. We got to stop taking part into the things that they are doing, because until they hear our voice. And you got to understand this. Jesus, aka Yahshua, was melanated. Jews, that's why Israel and Hamas is fighting right now. And I think the reason why they took gold away from the dollar, because they knew, well, yeah, it would pass. It would be the past of them. It would be the past of them. And I think what people got to understand is this: they have to understand that they know who we are. Everybody in the world knows who we are. That's why they wait for us. They need us more than you know. The American Indian here, they need us more than you know. All immigrants across the world are waiting for us. They're waiting for us. But yet, they have not begun to respect us. They have not begun to respect us. We see it in these guys, these Pakistanians. They got grocery stores. They feed our people the worst meat. Some of them stores you go in, they got flies all over the shit. Meat specials. You look at the chicken. The chicken is bigger than regular chicken. You can tell that it has a lot of steroids in it. Our people drinking malt liquor. They sell us the cheapest beer. Everything that they doing to us, but yet they want us to support them. We have made them rich here in America. The minorities got rich not from white people. White people don't support minorities. We support minorities. We make minorities rich. And you guys got to understand this. We are the reason. We give the power. Shout out to Monique Hill. We give the power to the people. And they're waiting, and they're continuously waiting on us. And we don't understand it. Sharon Walker in the house. And I want people to understand this. They're waiting on us. And we constantly are divided with us. We are divided with us and don't understand the power that we consumed. We don't understand who we are. And we are the Indians. We are the Israelites. We're more. We're everything. And we don't understand how powerful we are. Because we're so busy fighting each other. And you see these markets. You see how they cook. You see where are most of the Chinese restaurants at? Most of these Chinese restaurants, where are they? Go look at it. There, you can find a Chinese restaurant in every hood. In every hood, you can find a Chinese restaurant. You can find every immigrant. Where do they go? And where are they getting rich at? And one of the things that you got to understand, and we talked about this, why did a Chinese woman, and she came down, why did she go to Montgomery, Alabama Baptist Church? She went to a historical church. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not all into the religious stuff. I don't believe in all the politics stuff. But back in the days, they would use these churches as a place for meetings. There were meeting halls. These historical churches were more than just a church. There were historical meeting halls for our leaders, for our people. So why did this Chinese woman come to a historical church? And she burns this historical church. Who sent a Chinese woman to go burn this church down? Where did they come from? How did that happen? It makes you want, something to make you go home. Why did she pick? She didn't even have a green card. She wasn't even a citizen. What made her burn that church? And just like Sister Walker said, she said, I noticed that those foreigners don't eat the damn food that they sell. I noticed that the foreigner don't eat the damn food that they sell. I noticed that the foreigner don't eat the damn food that they sell. And then we end up with breast cancer. Women ending up with breast cancer. Men ending up, we're getting colon cancer. We ended up with multiple stomach cancers, all kinds of different things. Why? Why are we ending up with so much cancer all of a sudden? Why are our people dying? Shout out to Brightmore. Why are our people suffering in that realm? Why? We are on higher rates of cancer than ever. We were natural people. And see, one of the things that we would do, we would have our own farm animals. And grandma would go in the backyard and she would slaughter her own chicken. And the things that they're feeding chicken now, the hormones that they're putting in food now, makes you go, You see more women that are thicker than they was back in the days. You see more men that are more thicker than back in the days. Yes, Thomas, you and my mother both. Your mother and my mother passed away from cancer. I remember when that happened to you, Thomas. And still condolences to you, because it's always an everlasting hurt. I never got over my mother. It still haunts me. I never forget when I had to tell the doctor that I had that the doctor encouraged me. I had to let my mother go, and I'm her youngest son, and my brother and my sister, they just couldn't bear with that job, and it was the worst feeling to. But when I kept seeing them, they were hurting her, and it's the hardest thing in the world to see somebody pass away. It's the hardest thing in the world to watch somebody that you love pass away. And it eats you up alive. It eats you up alive. It's a hurt that I don't wish on anybody. You know how many times I'm on a road and I just wish that phone call would come. I wish the phone call, seeing her number and her calling me and saying, "Where you at this time?" My mother used to love to imagine where I was at, what part, because she know I'm adventurous. And when I go to different states, I don't just go to the states. When I'm in the country, the rural areas, I would get out the truck and go into rural areas. And my mother she was seeing me, she was visualizing through my eyes and through my words. And we don't understand that. We don't understand how you see animals that are not living long. Animals used to live a very long time. And the stuff that is in the atmosphere is unaliving all of us. People are known to live over their hundreds, and people barely living over their 50s. People are barely making it to 50. And knock on wood, I'm 48. Knock on wood, I'm 48. And that's something that we take for granted. We take for granted our life, and we don't realize this stuff. And we're not here that long. My eye is burning. And I want people to understand that. I want people to understand that it's not given for you to be here. It's not given for you to be here. You're here today, you're gone tomorrow. We got brothers that are passing away from heart attacks. They don't have life insurance. We got colon cancer out here. We got diabetes out here. And we are struggling just to make it. And we are just, well, every day I see people and I think about the things that are going on with people. We're losing ourselves, and we are allowing them to unalive us. Some of us just can't get away from sugar because we love that sugar. And sugar is worse than drugs. I don't think people understand the power of sugar. Because that show went through my episodes. I went through my episodes. I remember being here last year, 2 years ago. I remember shrinking right before your eyes. I remember going through it. Still coming on live, and went from being a big old guy and just start shrinking right before your eyes. I remember that. I remember feeling uncomfortable, wearing glasses, couldn't see. I remember I had glasses on and I could not even see some of the comments that's in this chat because the diabetes was taking over me. I remember being nervous, not knowing what I had. Now understanding I had a rare diabetes disease that caused me to lose weight instead of gain weight. Because that's what's going on in the food. Being a truck driver, we out here and we scrambling. Being a truck driver, they're not feeding you. There's nothing out here healthy to buy. And that's why I had to change my lifestyle. And when I come on a road, you have to bring your own food. Because the fast food is unaliving us. And you're cheating yourself. Every day we're cheating ourselves. And we're not talking about these things. We're cheating ourselves. The more that we are dealing, we yell with each other. We dislike each other. We have problems with our wife. We have problems with our husbands. We have problems with our children. Of course, I ain't got a husband. We're talking about wives. I'm just giving you an understanding. If you got a husband, you got a wife. And sometimes you find yourself distance from each other. You find yourself not the same as it used to be. But that ain't nothing but the universe trying to separate you. No matter what you're going on with your wife, no matter what you're going on with your husband, don't stop fighting. It'll get better. People separate every day because they're weak. It's easy to run away. It's easy to run from relationships. That's the easiest thing, to walk away from people. Finding people is nothing hard to go find people, but it's easy to walk away from people. And I call it copping out. Don't ever start something that you can't finish. Don't ever start something that you can't finish. And I thrive to that. Hurt people love to hurt people. And we do some of the most damage to each other. We talk about these Africans, the Pan-African movements that's happening. Shout out to KJ in the house. We talk about these people on TikTok. These people on TikTok come to distract. You can't teach on TikTok. That's why I come over here, because you can teach. But on TikTok, they're going to try to distract you. There's many people on TikTok, they don't want, they're going to call you, they're going to keep on, you're going to get trollers, you're going to get people out calling you out your name. And it's hard to deal. It's hard to build on TikTok. It's very hard. You have people living up to 145 years old, like Charles Smith and brothers from Florida, and he drank liquor and smoked cigars, and that's been the biggest lie. See, some people think that if you smoke and you drink, they are people who never smoked and drank in their life and never lived a long life. It's other things that is toxin in your life. Other things that takes you down in your life. And you have to understand these things. People die of stress and not knowing how stressed out they are. It's more than just drinking liquor and alcohol. Some people mentally be stressed. You see people catch aneurysms. You see people dealing with all types of things, and they have. I know a man who was dear to me. Used to be a part of a church that and he grew up. He was one of my partners. A good friend of mine, stepfather, and he died of a heart failure. And this man was one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And he's like a father figure to me. And I think, I never thought a person like that His dad was like 100 years old when his dad passed away, and he didn't even reach to his dad. He like passed away in his 60s and had great genes. But because of the what's in the toxins, the stuff that we putting in our bodies, see, that's the things that we don't understand. We're not following the ways of the ancestors. We're not following the ways of what they did. See, they used to walk all the time, Sister Walker. People that back then, they didn't have cars. They were outdoor people. And we're not moving the body. We're not moving the body. And see, Brother Calvin Solly, he was a man of God. And this man came into my life. He came into my life when I didn't have too many men to be a part of my life as a father figure. And this man took me to games with his stepson. The first time I got to travel out state, but because this man took a whole group of young men and took us to Tampa, Florida, took us to North Carolina. I didn't have to pay nothing out my pocket. And I never thought a man like that, if you looked at him, you said he was in good shape. He wasn't overweight. It doesn't matter if you are a big dude or a skinny dude. If you don't understand in this day and age, you can lose your life. It's not the size of you. Just because you're skinny doesn't make you healthy. Just being skinny doesn't mean healthy. And most of the times we would poke fun at big people and assume because a big person is big, and they just see there's a lot of big bone people and they're more healthier than your ass. They got some big bone people and they'll live longer than you. And they could be healthy and big and you don't even realize it. Because some people are meant to be big. Some people are meant to be small. Some people are meant to be big. I have been through all kinds of things in my life. Losing my sister. Never thought I'd lose my sister. My sister beat breast cancer the first time, and the second time, breast cancer came back and hit her in her back. They removed her breast, and the cancer came back in her back. Then 5 to 4 years after that, I lose my mother. It's all in the food. The toxin, it's all in the food. That's why I encourage you guys. My wife was looking at me in the backyard. I guess she was wondering what the hell I was doing. And all I could hear is a banging and banging at the window. But I could smell the rain coming. And I put 1,000 seeds in the ground by myself. I put 1,000 seeds in the ground by myself. 1,000 seeds without nobody help, by myself, in the rain, before it started to rain. Because you got to understand that when you plant, you understand that you're doing something. You're growing something. You're preserving something. It was just me and the shovel. 1,000 seeds, mustard greens, collard greens, lettuce, broccoli, and I planted some cabbage. And I was out there, and my wife banged on. She scared me. She banged on. I was like, who is that? She was watching me. She seen I was out in the yard. It's okay when you're going through something. When you're going through a storm, go outside. When you're stressing, when you feel like you are alone and you feel like nobody got your back. When you feel like you're going through stress time, you feel like you're just alone, go outside. Go outside to nature and start planting. Because that was my way of being able to get over losing my mother. I went back out into nature, and you watch life grow in the vegetables. Because that's life. A seed. A seed. And you watch it grow. A seed. And you watch it grow. Shout out to Bright Mo. Oh, you're with me. You didn't miss too much. And I want people to understand that. As I was going through the darkest time in my life, as I've been going through things, and I ain't got to blame everybody. I ain't got to go around saying this is the fault of this person, this is the fault of that person. You know what? I'm gonna do something productive in my life. And the productive is go out there and grow. And rather sit on a chair and just mope and drink and just mope, I got out in the fields. And it made me feel good about myself. Because guess what? I put 1,000 seeds in the ground. And you can put 1,000 more in the ground. And you're able to feed your family. You're able to give something to somebody else. And you're able to feel good at the same time. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're stressing on. And that makes you feel good. We all go through tough times in our life, man. The hardest thing. The God ain't gonna give you no more. And when we talk about God, we're not talking about Sky Daddy God. We're talking spiritually. We're talking nature. Nature is not going to give you no more than no more to handle. No more than what you can bear. It's hard out here for us. It ain't gonna get better, but you can overcome anything. And remember that all these people they've been telling us multiple times. Shout out to Cherokee. We talked about this. Where they have multiple panels on TikTok. They got people, like I said, they didn't call me. They called me a gator baby. People call me a gator baby. They think that's an insult because they know historically that what these devils used to do, they would use us as bait. And we got Africans out here disrespecting our people. You got Africans out here disrespecting our people because they want us so much to depend on them. They need us. We don't need them. Every continent had a tribe. Every continent had a original. Every continent, every country had a original. And you got to understand this. Every continent, every country had an original. And all original countries started dark. I don't give a damn if you feel, you feel some type of way. But all people come from the darkest man and the darkest woman. All human beings, everybody comes from the darkest man and the darkest woman, not the other way around. It's not the other way around. Nobody comes from light skin. Everybody comes from dark skin. And people have a complex about that. People feel, oh my God, how dare you say that? And people have a problem with color. Their ultimate problem is with color. Science. Science is the most, they don't want to deal with science. All people, and the Most High God did not make a mistake. All people come from melanated people. And it's people who have a problem with dealing with that. And they have issues with that. Okay? Every man, every woman comes from the dark. Alito, red butterfly in the house. Thank you guys for coming on in and checking out this beautiful night out here in Florida. It's great to see you guys. Brian's in the house. And I want people to understand this, that these people are more worried about you because the information is coming out. We talked about this multiple times. They were talking about how Brooklyn, they was talking about how half of New York was owned by American Indians. And that American Indians sold out that Brooklyn, I think it was Brooklyn, and sold it to YT people. And we talked about this. We talked about Fawcett, Georgia, how multiple places in Georgia that they were taking people's land, they taking people's land. And this is where land patents come back. This is why we got to understand land patents. There are many people who are on your properties. And if you understood about how these people, Walmart could be sitting on your land. Walmart could be sitting on your land. They would have to pay rent to you. Walgreens could be sitting on your land. They got to pay rent to you. And once you learn your patents, you will understand what I'm talking about. Now, and it goes back to the conversation to where I told you that go back and you understand that the people, when they stand around and they were burning our people, and they were burning the people, and they would stand around in their Sunday best. They would get grandma out there. They would get mama out there. They would get all their children out there. Now, you're not going to just get this for any brother. You ain't going to just get that for any slave. They're not going to come out there in their Sunday's best to watch a slave get hung. They was watching landowners who had land patents and who refused to give it to them. And because they refused to give it to them, they set them on fire. See, we have been told stories that these were runaway slaves, that all the people were runaway slaves. And when they were punished for running. When we understand that they were not punished for running, that these people stand their ground, that these ancestors of ours refuse and would rather be burned to death, would rather be unalive than just give their land to the white man. Understand these things. Because we have been told that all of these people were runners, that they were runaway slaves for freedom. When your people have had their freedom, there were many people of color that had freedom before 1492. They had freedom when the white man was here. They have told you that they were. Do you understand how many black people own slaves? See, when I tell you that we give too much credit, we give too much power to our oppressor. We said the white man done this to us. The white man done that. The white man did this. We blame. And we constantly saying how much power there was over us. Well, we don't understand that there were individuals that looked just like us. They didn't do it by themselves. We have been told for many years that it was just a white man. And there was many others helping the white man. It was Native Americans helping the white man. It was Mexicans helping the white man. And these same individual groups are the same people who can't stand us to this day. They didn't do it alone, but you were led to believe that they were doing it alone. You were led to believe that they were more powerful. But we're waking up out of this. All skin folks ain't kin folks. And I was telling a brother, they were talking about the Battle of New Orleans, and people keep talking about the French came down and they colonized. Well, who was the French? When you say that the French came down to New Orleans, was it melanated Frenchmen? Because they had people, Europe used to be ruled by Moors. Europe was ruled by Moors. So what people came down? We constantly talk about what white power and the power that they have brought, but we forget that other countries, other continents of black people came here. And we assume when we say European, we assume that these people were all white. But you know what assuming will get you. You wonder how black people get to the UK. Because black people originated there. Black people originated in China. The original Chinese were black people. The original Mexicans were black people. Black people reside in every continent of the world. At one time, the globe were black. Everybody was black. So when we listen to people, as time went on, the climate has changed and mutations had happened. And if people don't see the sun, what happens to people? Climate change. People change. We ain't talking about you. We ain't talking about you. You got to understand these things. We're not talking about you. Okay? These people came down. You're dealing with different types of climates. And you're dealing with different people. Climate change, different people. Okay? And I understand. But they are called mutations. When we talk about Chinese people didn't come, Chinese didn't start slanted eyes. Slanted eyes come from Africa. Slanted eyes don't come from Chinese people. That's why they done a study, and the study has showed that Chinese people DNA is the same as African people's DNA. They just done a study on it. That's why you see more Chinese people in Africa, because they're just going back to their motherland. There are many Chinese people. That's why they go over there and they carry them on their shoulders. They carry their people. because that ain't nothing but a mutation of an African. Chinese people are African people. And they just done that study. I got many pictures showing black Asian people. Okay? We talked about India. They're from the same continent. They're from the same continent, but people don't talk about that. It's very funny that the people from India, they got many of them who had their legs had to have surgery because they were walking on 4 legs. The people that you see on they're walking on 4 legs. I got many pictures of it. And we have to understand these things. But we say European. Everything that y'all think is European. There are different types of European. Not all European come from the Neanderthal bloodline. Not all of them. Not all of the Europeans come from the Neanderthal bloodline. There are Africans that come from the Neanderthal bloodline. There are African people that come from the Neanderthal bloodline, just like the white people do. And I just seen a couple of books on this. And you wouldn't believe it. The only difference is the color. They look just alike. It's mutations. You wouldn't believe it. There's white people not all white people come from the Neanderthal bloodline. I thought it was the truth, but it's not the truth. And there's a lot of African people with Neanderthal bloodline. There's a lot of African people. And it makes a lot of sense. And the people from India, all these people are connected to the Neanderthal, the India. I'm talking to people from India. They are connected to the Neanderthal bloodline. Some of them, not all, but some of them are. And we have gotten, information is crazy. The more you do information, the more you will understand. Check out my TikTok, and I will show you the pictures. Anybody out there who follow me on YouTube, y'all follow me on TikTok, and you guys, I will be able to show you a Mexican man going back. He's going back into werewolf stage. It's a video, and he's going back to werewolf. He has so much thick hair, like like he got a doggone mink coat. And this Mexican is going back to his original form. It's crazy. Okay? Not all are the Mexicans, because there are some original Mexicans. Some original Mexicans before Spain invade Mexico. Before the Spain invaded Mexico, what was Mexicans looking like? Mexicans were melanated dark people before the invasion. Okay? So we got to understand these things. But you guys, I'm about to close the live. I'd like to thank you guys for another great night. I would like to shout out to Monique Hill. And I would like to thank you guys for all the support that you guys have been giving me throughout the times that I come on. Even though I'll be doing a lot of non-schedules, but I'm about to start doing more. As you can see, I'm for Brightmore. I got nothing but love for my brother Brightmore. I got to start doing more over here. I'm going to start opening up the panels again, Brightmore, and I'd love to see you on. I got an interview with my cousin. I'm supposed to do an interview for him. He's going to the White House. He's doing big things. So I will be interviewing my cousin. My cousin is one person. We want to get more Aborigine people into politics. We want to get more Aborigine brothers and sisters that got our views, that think like us. More American Indians in there. We need to get more American Aborigine Indians into public office. So I will be doing. We will be talking about Black people finances. His that's his baby, about getting Black people wealthy. So I will be we will be going on trying to help people goals on getting rich, getting wealthy. And that's what I will be having him come on. He's going to the White House to speak to young Black people. It's going to be awesome. You know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to you, KJ. I always got much love for you. Thank you for all of the love and respect you guys come on, and always. It doesn't matter how many people come in the chat. Because I don't do a lot of broadcasting all the time. I will start broadcasting to let people know. But I want to thank you, just the people who will just pop in the way you guys do. You know, shout out to Big Dog Philly and his channel and all of the other great content creators out there. Shout out to all of y'all. I gotta go, but I want to thank you guys. Y'all remember I am on TikTok. I do a lot of content on TikTok. You guys are always welcome to come on. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do more content here because you seen we don't never get interrupted here. And I'm gonna start opening the panels back here. Okay. We gotta start opening the panels back here. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Thomas, my brother Thomas. We got so much in common, my brother. Much love to you. And I hope that you'll never get over your mother's death. You'll never get over that. But I hope that you understand that she loves you and she's always with you. She's always with you. I gotta coach myself to believe that with myself. I go through the same thing, brother. But she's an ancestor, and she's always got and love. Shout out to you, Sister Walker. Shout out to you, and I want to thank all of you guys once again for always supporting Chief Peanut Nola 504. One shout out to Chief Sunowl. I just saw you in the chat. Once again, shout out to you. Thank you. I know you just coming in. So much gratitude to Chief Sunowl. I see you. You kind of changed your name, but I know. But shout out to you, Chief. Like I said, we will be opening up the panels. We'll be doing more panels. I got a lot of interviews that are coming on. Hey, Chief, I might want to interview you. I'll let you know. You guys have a great one.